So I'm in a place where, first of all, I know that Trump is going to be the best candidate for the homeless solution. I just, hands down, that's when I started. That's when I met Trump, was at my worst time, at the worst point in my life. That's when I started to align myself with the Trump campaign. Good morning. Just want to come on and comment today about the news of President Trump and him contracting coronavirus. And I see this as a positive in many ways. Excuse the pun. But, I'm going to tell you how life is. And I got to go through some spiritual analogies, or whatever you want to call them, to get my point across. Some of my worst circumstances have always turned out for good. So I always say, whenever something happens that I don't like or that seems bad by man's standards, it's just God trying to get my attention. So some of the significant things: I lost my first teaching job back in 1991. Let some paper slip, let some things go on, some disruptions in the actual school where I worked. And I let my certification lapse and actually lost my job that I had been in for 7 years. I was a single parent, and that was my sole livelihood. I had to disrupt my whole life, move back home with my dad and mom. My mom passed. It was a terrible year for me. But over the next 10 years, I grew. I learned what it was like for people to have to work 3 jobs, not have insurance. I learned so much about life during that time that I could have never gained from that job. Okay, so moving fast forward, same thing happened to me in another school district. School teachers better have a side hustle, but for me, I went into teaching again. I got back after 10 years, and then it was again, a lot of financial woes, a lot of corruption. We had to reapply for a job. It was 4,000 of us, and I ended up homeless during that time, sleeping in my car. Again, what's going on? I've grown more over the 7 years that I've had to experience homelessness than I did during the 10 years that I taught. And I thought I was strong because I knew how to work jobs. Homelessness is a whole nother animal. So I'm in a place where, first of all, I know that Trump is going to be the best candidate for the homeless solution. I just, hands down, that's when I started. That's when I met Trump, was at my worst time, at the worst point in my life. That's when I started to align myself with the Trump campaign. I literally stepped out of a shelter that I thought, one of those liberal shelters that I thought was going to help me. And I literally stepped out and I just had an epiphany. I said, Obama didn't think of this. It was just an eye-opening moment. So since then, I followed Trump. I voted for him in the 2016 election. And I know that he's going to be the best person to end homelessness. And I also know that this is not a setback for him. It's a stepping stone. Sometimes God has to get your attention. And Trump has been on the campaign trail. He's been fighting to end the coronavirus. He's been keeping up with all of the latest changes. When has he had time for him? When has he had time for him? But these next 10 days will give him an opportunity to regroup, for self-reflection, to spend time giving himself the care that he needs. We all need to do that. Sometimes we get colds. The cold wouldn't have slowed him down. I mean, when God tries to get your attention, you got to get something to get your attention, not what will get anybody else's attention. Because, sometimes it's a cold, sometimes it's just what you need to stay home and eat soup and just, take care of yourself. We need those moments. And I'm confident that these 10 days will give him an opportunity to give himself the needed care, to be taken care of by people, and also to be reflective. I don't care how many advisors you have. I don't care how many people are around you. There's nothing like you getting alone with your God. Cut out all the distractions. So I hope he uses this time. I know it's going to take him a while to sort of wind down and realize that he can't do everything and that he has to focus on Trump. Not on the country, not on, and of course he's focused on the country, but he needs time for himself. And I believe that this will offer him that opportunity. He'll come back stronger, especially more prepared for the next debate. This is an opportune time for him to rest and be prepared to finish out this campaign and run the country for another 4 years. So that's my thoughts. My name is Lit. This is Lit's Talk. My channel is As the Third World and North America Turns. And I hope you'll come back soon to hear what I have to say. Peace.